everybody.
My name's Trey, and today I've got a talk for you about how jewelweed grows near poison ivy. Poison ivy, poison ivy. You better convert to the old way if that's how you gon' play. 'Cause jewelweed grows near poison ivy. Poison ivy. Can't you see? That's how it's gonna be. I have claimed that the original divine creator and the deceiver imposter gods had to remain pseudo-invisible in order to create this experiment, the law of non-interference. Financial survival mode is inherently myopic, but who has become completely exempt from this in their life? Only the masters of the money masters. So the dark angels and the respectful ones had to remain invisible in order to create this experiment in freedom, spiritual growth, and attempted permanent human slavery. We can see how the monetary system has enshackled nearly all souls by making us pay money to live on a planet we were born on, or to pay our enslavers to keep our entire life chained to the shackles of a debt-based fiat, or soon, much worse, an attempted digital slave planet scheme with fiat replaced by CBDC. And this is the fate of the humanoid these days, it seems. We can see how effective this has been in collusion with all the requisite secret clubs' control over resources, all of the centuries of endless warfare and coercive stealing through constant takeover plans of everything still rapidly escalating, even on the smaller local scale. For example, I was making a video in this tent, or a tent like this, in this exact spot, when I believe it, or I think it's a possibility, a direct energy weapon tried to make this tree fall on me. But due to having respectful divine angels or higher, winged loved ones, it fell onto some other trees which are holding it up. But I always wanted to get this tree in the video. However, when the sun's shining on my face, usually when I record videos, it's on the opposite side. And so, since I'm openly disclosing direct energy weapons, I wanted to not to share my victimization, but just to explain was it a coinkydink that in the middle of the atmospheric river, when it started coming down heavy and I heard planes overhead, and all of a sudden this tree just fell. And so in this case, the jewelweed, in my opinion, would be to if I actually influenced Lockheed Martin employees to demand another assignment or quit working there when they're asked to dump stuff and geoengineer. So, of course, I'm recording this on a very fake weather day, artificially ice cold. Not ice cold, but, artificially cold due to the presence of the false reality of aluminum dust cloud mixed with barium, strontium, possibly lithium, possibly, of course, it's the nucleated ice added to it that makes everything 20 degrees colder. So, you know, we've got true wraparound care from our enslaver junior god masters here, folks. We can see how effective this has been in collusion with all the requisite secret clubs, control over resources, all of the centuries of endless warfare and coercive stealing through constant takeover plans of everything, including the sky and most half the world humanoid body. Now it's a humanoid. Still rapidly escalating. It's going to be, say, 78 to 92% temporal psychological warfare, but 8 to 23% hot war. There's going to be some hot war. Don't be mistaken. Look what happened to Lahaina and Asheville. So, until many of us believe this is a prison planet, and until the majority of us believe this is a prison planet and all the earth and the new entire sky has been repurposed from a divine, sacred, beautiful living. In other words, until the vast majority take the atom bomb out of the billionaire narcissist taught spiritual and psychological 3-year-old toddler who's, I'm not going to name names here, but everyone knows their names, who are using their millions of dollars to do this to the sky and your bodies. Okay? Until the majority of humanity has the courage to take the power back, internally and externally, really. This is what we have to look forward to. I made a video a while back called Digital Ice Age. Well, that was part of the title. So so all of the sky and all of the earth and the entire sky and more than half 2/3 of the humanity has been repurposed from being a sacred, divine, beautiful, living, aware, globe, and multi-dimensional magical species into a dumbed-down, humanoid, cyborg, slave race. Now it's humans 2.0 and geoengineered skies full of artificially steered, like hurricanes and direct energy weapons, laser weaponry, and magnified violence. I moved to California over 20 years ago to live out my musical and healing dreams, to heal my flesh suit, become a healer, and become a professional musician. And I had a little bit more success with the music. Yet I came to the most expensive little town around with a chronic blood disease, which I got when I was 19. Getting ignored, busking, and cancer mutation since I was 13 internally. Getting ignored, busking in my mid-20s. I began collecting cans from the trash on Ocean Street and soon turned it into a route. I talked to the cashiers and I said, could I look through the trash? I promise not to leave a mess. I won't even look in the recycle bin to take the cans out. And when they said yes, I had a route. I'd make about $5 a day. They had these places all around Santa Cruz here where you could cash in the cans, but now you can only do it at several health food stores. It would be another decade before I can even earn dinner money with busking. This bird is either making fun of me or trying to get in on the video here. That is, if he's aware of it. They say that crows can speak over 200 different words, and they have a pretty high IQ for a bird. After my saying no for 3 years of my mother begging me to become a financial dependent, I went into the interview. This lifetime was supposed to be the one in which I became independent and worked harmoniously with others, my North Node in Libra. You see, I was a Buddhist monk or a shaman with a master or whatever in a past life. or I was a professional musician addicted to cocaine in one of them. So I could never try cocaine. I could never allow myself to be controlled very long by someone else before getting offended to my soul. And so that's why, the whole situation that I agreed to after 3 years was an attempt by, a successful attempt by the forces of control to get me, to mess with my social skills and, mess with my connection to the people. And so, to convince me to go further toward that South Node in Aries, to become more, in the state of war, obsessed with survival and not dying, getting caught up with narcissistic abuse, etc. So, and yet I was totally coerced and finally agreed to the hologramic perception of littleness. Littleness. That's the illusion. That's the lie. The littleness. The cowardice. The fear. The codependency I accepted. How could I begin teaching and make over 500 videos, often from this campsite, before I fully healed or graduated from this place and phase of existence? Hitting the pavement and getting run over by a PG&E truck, it said on the police report, which suspiciously came out 6 weeks later, after 5 days in the ER and 6 months using nature to heal the 15 broken bones. After a year after the accident, I began to share wisdom on YouTube, yet I did so somewhat naively. My Mercury and Mars retrograde came to bite me in the keister again with my Is Yahweh video series, still within the archetypal pattern of my astrocartographical line here on the Wounded Healer Chiron or Chiron, since I had been struck down by physical infections again lately. I have felt discouraged. The archons have gotten their way with me. I took a break, a hiatus from this service. I felt the one of the head honcho archons, the evil overwhelm, and fear and depression, the other archons, to connive me into, even with ample cannabis supply and solitude, to convince me to be too discouraged, to agree with the dark, the employees of Alphabet, the ones that are actually evil, to not allow me to have any conversations, and the discouragement that caused my soul to buy into the false illusion of loneliness and separation one last time, Trying to teach awareness. Obviously, my shadow work is also about consistency, about maintaining the things I have to tackle within myself besides learning technology, is the consistency of meditation, the consistency of making videos or whatever I want to do, maintaining a consistency, see? And my issue with control, my counterdependence, my issue with total refusal to deal with anyone with a trace of narcissism, out of, trying to heal from the complex trauma of a narcissistic family and so-called friends and actual friends. And my tendency to have to do it all myself and keep people at arm's length is another one I have to deal with. The answer is near to all of these. The answer to all of my issues is within, just like everyone. Okay? Yet it is totally true. Also, in addition, it is totally true what Andrew Bartz has said. It's frankly a tragic part of the human condition that an individual can be very advanced in one part of life and yet retarded in another. Obviously, I must apply more consistency here or wherever I want to work. The thing I've noticed, I became able to earn dinner money as a one-man band only after applying consistency for many years. Okay, in this town, because you got to compete. If you play by the rules in the legal spot to busk, you have to compete against the worst, nastiest tweakers who make no sense to the most advanced. Some people that are in town to play gigs were busking. So it is a part of the human condition that an individual can be very advanced in one part of life and yet retarded in another. I don't know if he said retarded, but I'm going to say that. Obviously, my relationship to other humans and the forced financial system seemed to have gotten quite weak, or I wasn't paying close enough attention, every single moment to have discernment. And somehow, my social life and my financial life atrophied. I fell into the archontic scams, particularly as I agree with Howdy Mikowski's. And I mean, when I'm in a place where they can make it fake cold through geoengineering, which is anywhere that I've been in North America here. I mean, they even did it in Texas, for crying out, retarded. Anyway, so to say that word again, particularly as I agree with Howdy Mikowski's interpretation when he says the controllers intentionally put us into relationships and situations not for our spiritual growth or success. Similarly, Eve Lorgan's two books explain her book, The Alien Love Bite, about the alien love bite. That we're put with other humans for maximum loosh, anguish, and suffering. You're put with that husband or wife, mom or dad, brother or sister, or best friend when you're young, before you had psychological awareness. Because Lucifer and the Archons think that this is their planet, and we're their slaves, their farm animals, or their child hookers, and they want maximum bliss for them and maximum pain for humans. Okay, it's their food. Okay, just remember, you're here for maximum loose until you wake up. Okay, because the false self black hole junior gods is their favorite food is to keep you in a state of idiocy, keep you stuck. Even if it's simply, at a state of depression or talking shit all the time. They love us when we do that. The false self black hole junior gods love it. Yet they have to remain violent, hidden, and asleep. Because until the day or the year comes when Lucifer, loser for himself, repents his ways and gives up being a narcissist, killer, psychopath, vampire. Unless that is, if that's a possibility, when that comes, then maybe other people who follow his sick ways, will change. But until that point comes, don't expect the Babylon to have your back. Don't expect your so-called friends who are high on the scale of narcissistic personality disorder to have your back. Don't expect your friends possessed by archons or greed or manipulation, coercion, or control freaks to have your back, because they're out of control themselves. Whereas Christ Sophia, Mother Gaia, and our pure souls agreed, again, through Lucifer's coercion and their intimidation, traumatizing us, manipulating us, or, originally we chose to undergo this experiment of having free will with these flesh suits, allowing the dark side and everyone to have their free will, thinking we came here thinking it would be for soul expansion, growth, healing, and sharing human awareness. And for some of us it is, even more so with these gadgets, even more so in the age of the Aquarius with UTAT and the internet. What if both are facets of this big experiment? What if free will is truly given to all beings, and we must discern to live in peace, harmony, and respect, or suffer the consequences if we do not? We will keep suffering as long as we don't do the inner work, including myself, everyone. If I'm a hypocrite, I'm going to suffer. I am no exception. I am not better or worse than anyone. That's hubristic, narcissistic, inverted, Decepticon thought, groupthink, thought trash. Just as different degrees of awareness, after 500 videos, I'm still in this camp. Am I a loser? Did I give up? The weak side of me, the false self, the archontic voice, the part of me that believes the voice is still, I'm not 100% clear of it. So very few people are 100% enlightened people. I don't think anyone is. I mean, there's a few, but unless I'm more pure, it's doubtful that I'll meet them. The weak side of me, the false self, has lately tried to convince me of this lie. Especially when I'm shadow banned. I knew if I had to worry about earning money, it could obscure my healing. Yet, having no part of the forced financial system, I'm one of those people who it says in my astrology, my personal stuff, that I meet people through work. So probably because I'm a homebody most of the time if I'm not working, especially as a musician. So it is too easy to stay in a wounded key or chironic hermit, especially on this astrocartographical line right here. If I don't leave because of the financial slavery, the matrix beast, forced slavery system here, giving away all this wisdom. What can I do to destroy my personal hypocrisy? Learn marketing? I'm at a different phase of awakening where it's like I could admit my flaws and then still allow the dark side to hypnotize me into not changing and not improving them, which a lot of people hate me for. I don't blame them for that. But one by one, you pull it up, nip it in the bud, as Barney Fife says. You pull it up by the roots. I have to find the root in my subconscious, the root thought. The soul recapitulation or shadow work involves what is the root fear. For example, do I really want to get an automobile or do I not want to get one? The only way I can even know if I really want to get an automobile or not is if I completely get over the fear of driving, the fear of responsibility, the fear of being boxed in by the Babylon beast, being forced to pay for gas and insurance, registration, and being locked in, the fear of casual sex or whatever, any kind of fears I might have around it. And so, I could easily admit, like, I think automobiles are stupid and I'd rather wait to get my 0-point hover car. And that's true. I don't really think it's more than several years. However, in order to be willing to 100% face that fear is serious shadow work after I smashed those 15 bones several years ago. So it's interesting, right? So I'm not above or below anyone. Those hierarchies are part of the problem. And a narcissist is always better than everyone else. They can only have cognitive empathy. They don't really give a fuck about how you feel unless they're in the mood or they want to connect, have cognitive, So I need to learn marketing, begin earning again, get more side hustles, grow more awareness in those ways and other ways. Yet these must be done in ways that serve others' awakening, because I've been through an awakening, because I've experienced the oneness, because I've been given a second chance. I decided to become a wisdom teacher publicly online. So if not, I'll get pulled back into capitalism's little me inverted ways. So donate to my, throw some change, throw $5 in my my coffee cup. buymeacoffee.com/Trey's Myths. It took me decades to learn why my mother would beg me to be a disabled guy, even though I was disabled, even though I had two deadly diseases for years. Because I considered MRSA and its related mental sickness to be shaman's disease, yet unable to fully eradicate and evict the vampires as a taker would be the result. Of course, because being a dependent keeps me stuck in the vicious loop of codependency. So but it's a terrifying illness, just like cancer, just like battling cancer and the abscess it's terrifying. But I mean, the system of dentistry and the system of the system we have, I didn't feel any choice but to try to do my best in the DIY. And I also do identify as a Heyoka and just a natural healer or shaman, a person who uses nature to heal. I have given myself both very tall orders and been lazy. Okay? The truth is, I've never given up the work, yet I've been lazy in some regards. Sometimes simultaneously. Like dyslexic or, autistic, like I am on the autistic spectrum. But even saying that is derogatory. So I don't believe in these terms such as, I have, they want to make it more polite now. Cognitive divergence. Yet it is, they want to use big words. The one thing I love about the religion of psychology and the dark side is how brilliant the controllers have been at black magic, and then reversing them and using their terms when I feel it's appropriate to describe the truth. And also, if their works were clear in psychology, for example, if it's clear works, I'll use their terms. So, which Sam Vaknin probably hates me for, but that's fine. I'll have to accept that. So, yet as always, the answers are within. For the Christ and planet are vastly more, and human souls and these bodies are vastly more powerful than the dark side. Don't ever forget that. Be truth it or be lies or believe. Because creation is not a human farm. Loose drip, memory wipe, forced reincarnation prison. At least not in the very beginning and not in the very end, after this war is over. Yet the system is a powerful inversion of spiritual reality. Never forget. If you're still in the matrix, if you're still in mainstream religion, government, mainstream media, black magic, pharmakia, you're in an inverted system. The system is a powerful inversion of spiritual reality. The narcissistic personality disorder epidemic is the outstanding, shining accomplishment of the fake God, Loser 4. Making humans, after unplugging at least 11 of our DNA strands almost 1 million years ago, making humans into, and then, creating all these mind control, fear-based scams and coercions and war and killing and, everything from guns to Humans 2.0. Making humans into his sick, successful, sycophant, fully self-possessed, I don't give a fuck about others' image. That's the light of the fake God, Loser 4. And so, all of my powers, even with the systematic blood disease, were so intimidating to the masters of hell on earth that it wasn't kosher for me to have my couple of hundred people watching. I had to be put into the hologramic place of the little wounded me that I was already in until I understood covert and hero narcissism, which ironically, of course, the CIA and the algorithm beast of Alphabet, Google, YouTube is, that's where they help me. They help me to learn. Since after, all the harm that their predecessors caused in Mockingbird, they at least have to disclose psychological healing for us here for free. Until I understood covert and hero narcissism, I couldn't get the point of entrapment. Now I know why my mother, brother, and old friends could never acknowledge all of my intensive works here, all of my 500 videos, why they have to forget and play it off, and why, beside my bloodkins, the majority of them won't even watch one video. And they'll talk to me for hours about spirit, and they'll love me, but that depends on what they're doing if they're in that certain mood. And they'll give me so much love and attention, but they're intimidated because when they're high or medium on the scale of NPD, there's this huge element of jealousy and one, pyramid, and they have to be on the top dog, So, a lot, sadly, the majority of my old friends in this Aries town here, Santa Cruz, could never acknowledge all of my intensive works here. The truth and freedom upset the sick apple cart of normie conditioning. Okay? If they're not willing to overcome, it's, for someone who's narcissistic or lower on the scale, it is a possibility that it can be overcome. For someone high on the scale, it's like fat fucking chance. Okay? All those high on the scale of NPD must be better than you in their extreme insecurity and to the point of being an NPE, narcissistic predator entity possessed person. If they're if they turn into the NPE when they're in a bad mood, when the NPE takes over, when the Archon takes over their personality, okay, you're going to find out. They will never change. They're going to be extremely threatened in their extreme insecurity, black hole, false self. They're going to be extremely threatened by your hard work, by your independence, and your freedom is threatening. Working hard on freeing yourself and others is not okay to the Archons. The perception of loserdom is imperative. If the dark side doesn't want me to participate in the awakening, they've got the Archons, the mind control, the censors have got to convince me. And one of the ways they do it, or attempt to do it, is they're doing stuff like dumping lithium and nucleated ice in the sky so that this town with the perfect 70 degrees afternoon is going to give me cold hands. In a capitalist system, for a straight man, it seems your earning power is your testicles. It's only natural for normal people to never give me a chance, as I do not have a wife or a steady girlfriend that I'm in love with. And thus, my testes are still sick. In addition, how could I have done all this work as a heterosexual person with no sex life? How did I have the energy to do this? When I was a teenager, one time when I was stoned, somebody told me, oh, you're one of those people that's going to get married to Mary Jane. You're going to get married to cannabis. And at the time, I thought they were an idiot. But when I let someone sleep in my tent when I was 19, and then I developed certain terrible infections, and then, I dealt with cancer and mental illness, I thought, well, I have especially after I got fully robbed blind here, and spent a long time with my sibling. I developed, because I didn't have any money, or I didn't know how to get cannabis. I decided to take a 10-day break, and several day breaks. I always take tolerance breaks when I need to, but that's given me a lot of the energy, to be honest and frank about it. A huge amount of the energy has been cannabis. I've made about three or four videos out of all of these videos without cannabis. I have made some, but to prove to myself and to just as an exercise, and they were well received videos. So how can I have done all this work as a so-called pseudo or so-called heterosexual person with no sex life, no woman, and thus no full circuit in the yin-yang and the tantric or Taoist sexual yin-yang, the power circuit? This is what I'm saying. It's natural to not want to pay attention to me for a lot of folks that can't give someone a chance because they need to feel that power. And that's the power that brings the highest form of channeling, which is bringing an ensouled, a bait, having reproduction and bringing a spirit into a human body. So that's why it's the hierogamic union and sacred reproduction, like intentional human reproduction in a hierogamic union, is the most targeted thing. So how could I do all this much work and get ignored by the majority? It is natural to be repelled by the uncanny valley effect. So the part of me that's not 100% healed of covert narcissism, that whatever smidgen part of me that's not healed, gives people the uncanny valley effect. And that means they feel repelled. Something's off about me. I make people feel weird. You think I'm a weirdo. And again, it's because of what I said a minute ago as well. But the perception of my narcissism and or mental or physical illness, my isolation, my acceptance of hermitage, and ironically, tantric sex also saved my life, and cannabis and raw milk. But in all three, they could all three cause me bliss states that I could become dependent on. They could cause me to get cancer or even sick if due to dependency. Again, it's a balance. Well, there are natural things and substances and practices, but you have to know the balance. That's why it was in the Taoist tradition. That part of it was the whispered in the ear. There's nothing in the Tibetan written works that I've seen of studying dozens of books about the sexual part of it, because they whispered it in the ear. That's how they kept it. The Tibetans kept it that intimate in that way. So isolation and freedom from rent or mortgage and lack of a sex life, as people saw those as reasons to never give this broadcast a chance. They couldn't relate to me, my freedom. They couldn't relate to my going without a woman and having the energy to make this stuff. So they decided, before even watching one video, that I didn't deserve a chance. They decided they didn't like me, or they didn't want whatever I had to say in their head. In addition, I'm currently doing this out of pure love, because my YouTube government agent letter group friends, don't promote it, and Jeremy Kauffman and Donald Trump and Peter Thiel, they don't shadow ban me or block me or promote me. They kind of just allow me to, slowly build it up. So in addition, getting shadow banned, Alphabet CEO Neil Mohan openly stating we're not going to support people spouting off from their basement. We will only support official authorities, professional channels. And he became the CEO a little ways into after I started. I've learned both the hard way and the fun way. You cannot do it all yourself. I mean, I had a zine and a punk rock band when I was 14, and I really enjoyed it. But you cannot, no man is an island. You cannot do it all yourself, especially if you don't change the aloof, unintegrated parts. Well, see, it was a fake rain day. A fake rain day on this video. I should have known, man. The dark side is predictable. my intuition told me to record this video in the tent, and I decided not to, and so there it is. And it's my laundry day too. How about that? And so just gotta get out my froggy toggles, and I got on my wool pants already. So I'm good, and I'm learning it again this moment. Okay, especially if you don't change the aloof, unintegrated parts. In short, obviously, I have to practice what I preach. Without fully healing the codependent, covert narcissism, I won't even remember all the work I put into this. Or without having a woman, it's doubtful that I'll probably do it anyway. It's just a matter of, fully facing the self, the real self, And, without doing the shadow work, I'll never monetize and make a living healing. However, if I'm willing to really face where the answers to my life mission, where is the answer to my life mission? I will be able to clearly see where the real benevolent future of humanity actually is within the self. Healer, heal thyself. I'm talking to myself and all those of you in the audience who consider yourself healers or student healers. Healer, heal thyself. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning, but I have a lot to share. Yes, it is much easier to be an angry truther, street preacher, as I was before I started this series, than a calm professional. Especially when the dark side, are dumping fake rain on me while I'm trying to record a video. Yet for every illness, probably every single problem, the answer is nearby. The poison ivy grows right next to the jewelweed. The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, as it were. Have you ever had poison ivy? Or poison oak? Maybe if you did, you purchased Jewelweed soap or lotion to get rid of it. As it turns out, Jewelweed usually grows near poison ivy. In learning meditation and discernment, we can learn to see ourselves from the bird's eye view. In learning to observe ourselves from the 0 point of as a pure a level of non-judgment as possible, even in the middle of these insane weather wars, nanotech, basically psychological based, and modern war, World War III. We can, I went to a Brave and Free or Food Not Bombs meeting about World War III the other day, and I didn't even mention to him about the attack on Asheville and Lahaina were obvious parts of World War III. I guess I didn't want to bring about more fear and scare them. So, if we can learning to observe ourselves from the 0 point of non-judgment, as a pure level of non-judgmental awareness as possible, we can ascertain the obvious, hidden from our myopic view. The jewelweed grows near the poison ivy nearly invariably. For me, learning the skills and facing my higher self, or the real divine part of myself, and facing the fact that the whole person, a participating part of the human race, is a key. In other words, seeing myself as a part of all of humanity, not better or worse, a participating or someone who is contributing, working or playing, sharing, giving, and not just taking, and not just giving as a slave, but giving out of the choice to give, sharing out of the joy of discovery, the amazing wonder of sharing, the amazing beauty of life itself, bringing in the light of the true awareness of Christ into this heavily polluted environment by choice. For as we all will learn as we wake up, not only is the way that we treat others how we treat ourselves, it is also our gift to ourselves. It is our gift to the oneness, to all beings. Okay, so for me, learning the skills and facing my higher self, facing my participation has been a key. A narcissist can only prevent community peace and collective awareness, because they have to be the only one and only person who's done the great things and gets the rewards, and you're all less than him, and it's a sick hierarchy. No matter what they claim. So we all must remember, no matter how sick or well we are, we all must remember to somehow honor their buried true human self. No matter how sick or insane a person is, no matter how enlightened or retarded they are, no matter how wounded and flunked out or successful and talented and stuck up or fully open or fully closed they are. Imagine that. While remembering the false self's view of things, while remembering the fear-based false self's views of things, the archontic deception strategies are psychological shit filth. And, every time I practice them, I'm going to degrade my level of awareness. And until I'm willing to give all of them up, become, 96% pure, there's going to be suffering. Okay? Whereas if I'm willing to become about 96% pure, I could transmute or transcend most of the suffering. It's much easier to say it than do it. But helping others to heal helps me, so. Compared to, the archonic deception strategies are psychological shit filth compared to the truth. The narcissist is always shoulding on you. You should do this. You should do that. You should do this. You should do that. Well, don't should on yourself, and don't should on anyone else. And if you want to get over your mother flunked out, psychologically ascension flunked out narcissism, then don't should on anyone, including yourself. Someone with bad narcissistic personality disorder is always fighting you. And you know what? When they're in the laundry cycle of narcissistic abuse, and they love bomb you and they treat you with so much love, they give you cognitive empathy. They act like they're so into you, they're attuned to your every need. They shower you with everything you want and need. And it's only because they want to suck you dry and fight you and tear you down. It's unbelievable, really, unless you've been through it. So narcissists or people high on the scale of NPD are not self-confident. That's a great myth. They really have no self-confidence at all. They're really fully insecure. The Christ brings togetherness. In capitalism, money, both, any kind of money, but particularly fiat money, both connects us and forces separation. I remember in the year 2020, I looked on the ground and I saw a 666. The money system, the money masters had put these stop signs with a 6 on it, 3 of them usually on the ground in various stores, a bus station. And I thought, wow, how much more overt can you be? someone who has bad narcissistic personality disorder is always fighting you psychologically and tearing you down, or trying to rule over you and control you and coerce you, whereas the Christ brings togetherness and peace. Capitalism often grows NPD abuse. Can it be used to create community? I mean, some people have done it, but it's pretty uber rare. I mean, it's possible. Trust me, I've learned the wrong way and the fun way. Humans need physical communities and conversation. The negative aliens need to prevent these to keep their loose farm going. Only within those with great respect and discernment is it possible that you can use capitalism to create a respectful community that works. So, I be truth, that we agreed to experience this separation, but it is not real. The real part of us has always known it's not real. Okay? So, only within communities of great respect, discernment, and true love can capitalism be involved and it not be messed up. Can you and I be those folks, or learn the requisite skills for real freedom? For real freedom, learning wildcrafting, gardening, hunting, fishing, or heaven forbid, acquiring land to do it on legally through normal ways, or much better through allodial title. Look it up, allodial title. If you don't have a mental illness label, you can do allodial title if you're extremely lucky and you figure out how to do it. Can we take this human prison planet system and become real junior gods? Can we take these rays of the amazing power of the pure light of Christ Sophia, pure awareness of consciousness, and become real, harmless, peaceful, respectful junior gods ourselves, in total and near total freedom? Or will we be forced into a digital planet of the slaves to a much worse degree? Life is a dance, not a contest. With Gnosis, will you also have the courage to turn this system of churning endless war into a means of perpetual peace and expansion of awareness? If you get the itch, the medicine is near. For in this psychological prison, you are the inmate and the warden until we're fully awakened. And that includes me, until I'm willing to deal with that on all of my chakras, on all facets of life, be it finances or just full sovereignty. Until I have full sovereignty and give up all hypocrisy. It's true with me too. Okay? Until we are fully awakened, we are prisoners locked into cages with the keys to the lock in our hands. We can only discover that we have that key in our hand when we see the light of Christ, and thus the answer is found within. The soul Helios, the sunshine, the healing, the medicine of all topical illness, it's still there behind the shit filth trash of the Decepticons. The answer is found within. Until human bones can regenerate. Narcissists will try to ignore or prevent your healing and wholeness, whether they're aware of it or not. They'll say little things to make you feel stupid. Can our spirits transcend the archons and regenerate the oneness? Yes. Can you and I be those rare souls who graduate from loser fours, perpetual laundry spin cycle of narcissistic abuse and forced memory wipe reincarnations? Yes, but not in the mental narcissistic personality disorder trap. Can our spirits transcend the archons and regenerate into oneness? Yes. See, loser 4 has no self. You got to understand that when the narcissistic personality disorder epidemic was first hatched, how it was created, in my estimation, what I think happened is that like 1,000,000 years ago, when Lucifer or Enki decided he was going to take over this planet, and he didn't have any respect for his mother or his brother, so he decided to take over and start genetically altering us, unplug 11 of our DNA, put all these selenite pylons in the earth, the core of the earth, set up the Saturn Moon Matrix. I mean, he did a masterful job to create mind-controlled slaves and farm animals out of humans. But again, he lost his connection to the heart. He lost his ability to have empathy. And that's why people high on the scale of NPD have no empathy, because it's the image of Lucifer or archontic possession. They can't feel. So loser 4 really has no self, only a black hole, a complete inversion, an egoic inversion of self, ad nauseum. The memory wiping incarnations are going to go on forever unless we change. I be truth that there is a great possibility we can and will escape the filthy psychological bullshit cage of inversion. But it'll probably require a lot of psychological shadow work for most of us. The truth about exopolitics, religion, government, ETs, lies, and truth are out there. The truth about you and how to fully heal yourself is in there. The truth for me to how to fully, completely heal all of my illnesses and physical and mental problems is in here. Or growing nearby. Enjoy the difficulty, if you can, of regaining oneness. Because when you can enjoy even the difficulty, when you can be as humble and maybe it's covert narcissism, but when you can destroy your hubris enough, as much as I have, to tell people, even when I'm throwing a narcissistic tantrum, I'm teaching you what not to do. I've told people when I'm acting stupid, right now I'm showing you what not to do, because I realize that I'm teaching people through my behavior at all points, whether I like it or not. And I'm not here to play victim or teach you what not to do. I'm here to say, you know what? Look at the divine, pure rays of the Christ. The Holy Ghost, it's shining in the video right on my third eye right now, and it's also shining in the heart of the awakened ones, and those of you willing to face the truth, willing to face the love of the Christ, which is within all beings at all times, like it or not. It just has to be uncovered, and the freedom when you become harmless, if you don't trespass or harm anyone else's body or stuff, or your own, especially your own soul, you can do anything. If you're respectful and harmless, and Hamza, you are free. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't already, my friends, make sure that you click on subscribe and follow me on Odyssey, ODYSEE.com, or Rumble if you want to go deeper into the dark, the dark side's control. And you know what, folks? No matter what happens in World War III, you can be peaceful. You can be somebody like David Standall Rolfe, who finds the sacred divine light within this insane war. And if you have the courage every night and every day, that you have the personal power and courage to do it, create a great one, my family. Loving ya. And peace.